This is the Great Legend, and I am coming at you live with DC's new 52 review of Aquaman, issues 1 through 6. That's right, folks. Today's DC's new 52 review is Aquaman. Now, growing up, my first visions of Aquaman and seeing Aquaman was in the Super Friends cartoon way back in the day, you know, late 70s, early 80s, whenever that stuff came out. You know, and they had those superpowers action figures, you know, you squeeze their legs together and they start doing stuff like that. Well, in the cartoon, Aquaman I always thought was a really lame character. Because he rode on that seahorse, you know, seahorse, and then he had that little, you know, mind control over the dolphins or whatever. I just thought it was pretty stupid. But my good buddy Roger 69501, he was like, you know, you really ought to read some Aquaman. At the time, you know, I've been reading the Justice League, keeping up with Justice League pretty good, and then they had this Throne of Atlantis storyline. So, and it's Jeff Johns. You know, Jeff Johns writes the book, same guy that writes the stories for Justice League. So I was like, you know, I can still get these Aquamans fairly cheap. You know, why the heck not? Let me go ahead and start reading some Aquaman, because me and Roger 69501, we usually have the same kind of likes on a lot of the books. The only one that I think we're at odds end on is probably All-Star Western. But anyways, Aquaman. So I know also from the DC cartoons, the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, I know that Aquaman's hand was cut off, and he had like a hook or a little harpoon type hand. But with the DC New 52 reboot, they rebooted it all. Aquaman has hands again. So for me, starting out in Aquaman issue 1 here, I thought this was an excellent issue. Jeff Johns writer and Ivan Rice on the art and Joe Prado on the colors. I really enjoyed this issue. First we have Aquaman. He's just in the city, hanging out. I cannot remember the city name right now, but that's okay. It's kind of, I guess, on the East Coast, maybe up near Maine, something Bay. But yeah, so Aquaman's up there, and he's in the city, and everyone's like, whoa, it's Aquaman. You know, wow, Aquaman is here. And Aquaman actually, there's some police, and he stops a robbery in progress or something. He you know, helps the law enforcement there. He takes that big harpoon, and he like overturns the vehicle of these people trying to run away from the cops. So he saves the day. And then Aquaman, being famished after saving the day, he just goes into this fish restaurant, like you would see up in maybe Connecticut or Maine or something like that. Just some like seafood joint kind of off the near the Atlantic Ocean. And everyone's freaking out, not knowing what to do. And you hear these jokes about, well, is he going to eat his own kind? Is he going to eat his fish and all that? So they just kind of bug him. And through this issue, you also see that a lot of people are throwing little jabs at him. They're kind of making fun of him and stuff like that. But near the end of this issue, if you look real close in the background, you see these like kind of fish people with really sharp teeth. Think of like the aliens, you know, from the Aliens movie. Just really sharp teeth, really evil. Well, near the end of the book, there is some disappearances, there's some killings, there's some real cannibalistic stuff going on. So they come find Aquaman, and Aquaman is, you know, the king of Atlantis, but he's not living in Atlantis. He's not living under water or anything. He's actually living in a lighthouse that used to be his dad's old house. Also in this issue, we see a lot of cool flashbacks from when Arthur, aka Aquaman, was a little kid, kind of growing up with his dad. So he didn't, and of course Aquaman here, his mom must have been like the queen or whatnot, but the dad had a fling with the mom, and then, but the dad's human, so I guess Aquaman's kind of half human, half water person. Anyways, just really loved this issue. And then it starts off the whole storyline called The Trench, which are these really bad guys that live in the trench. So that's Aquaman number 1. I'm not going to go too in depth. I'm just going to kind of talk to you a little bit about these and my review of these. This is Aquaman 2. I really love this cover. It's just a close-up of one of those characters or creatures that Aquaman's dealing with, and if you look really close, this will be in the 720 high def, but through the eyes you can see the reflection of Aquaman through the eyes of this creature. In this episode, Aquaman starts fighting these creatures on the dock of the town. You know, he's kind of helping the cops, you know, try to figure it out, and Aquaman's doing his mind-reading thing, and he can't really communicate with these creatures, and he doesn't even know where they come from. But what's happening in the story of this trench storyline, some of the humans, okay, they're getting eaten. These people know one thing, and that's to eat food and bring food back to their home, to their trench. So that's what it's all about. So they're taking humans and eating them, dogs, whatever, cats. So yeah, it continues in issue 2, where Aquaman is trying to find out what these people are, what do they want, why do they keep eating, and then so they fight a little in this one. So just another good book by Jeff Johns and Ivan Rice on the art. Really love the artwork in here. Very close to kind of your Jim Lee style, or just your current modern day comic book art style. Really love it. Really love these colors by old Joe Prado here. This was just another great issue as well. Loved it. Trench. This is the part 2 of the Trench storyline. Just very good. Another thing that happens is Mira. You get Mira on the cover of this one. This is Aquaman's wife here, and she is so good looking. Look at that. She's awesome. Now Aquaman, you know, he has superhuman strength. He can pretty much take a bullet. You know, he's got this cool scale-like armor, battle armor on. You know, he's got the green pants, got the classic belt with the little A-looking Atlantean symbol from Atlantis. And in this issue, they both fight. Now, Mira here, the wife of Aquaman, she controls the water itself. So if there's any water around, she can control it. So she can control the ocean and make a hurricane go, or you know, make a tornado on the water, or make a pool that would suck people in the water. Can use the water as a blast force, whatever. She can control the water while he controls the animals and just has this strength and speed underwater. She's also really strong too, and she has speed in the water as well. I don't remember if it was in issue 2 or issue 3, but Aquaman, he's looking through some photos of his dad and himself, reminiscing, and also they do some more flashbacks in each one of these issues, but he sees Mira is looking in the picture book, or the photo album, and he sees his dad with this other guy named Dr. Shin. And Dr. Shin was a guy that always wanted to use Aquaman, so Dr. Shin would know where Atlantis was, because Dr. Shin always knew Atlantis was real. But a lot of these people where Aquaman lives don't think it's real, or they think Atlantis is fake, you know, it's sunk, there's no such thing. But there really is, of course. So this one here is just part 3 of the Trench storyline, Cannibals of the Deep. And this point is where Aquaman he kills one of these creatures. He takes the creature to Dr. Shin, because Dr. Shin knows a lot about the sea creatures and stuff, and he wants him to do kind of like an autopsy, or to kind of figure out what the heck this guy was. Dr. Shin, of course, is pumped because he knows, oh, this body, I can have this body, blah, blah, blah. And, of course, Aquaman takes the body with him because he doesn't want Dr. Shin, you know, taking credit and, you know, doing all this stuff. So Aquaman definitely does not like this Dr. Shin guy, but he's trying to use him to find some answers on who are these, like, cannibals of the deep. Who are these people that keep eating humans and whatnot? Another thing that was interesting in this, of course he doesn't tell Shin anything, but another interesting thing is up on the docks after one of the big fights, they find out that there's this cocoon, right? Think of the movie Gremlins, when the kid goes up in the attic and then there's all those, like, eggs, those kind of cocoon eggs. Of course, the green gremlins hatch out. But anyways, there's these cocoons, and these cannibals are encasing humans, encasing people in these cocoons, and then they're taking the cocoons with the people down to the deep into the trench for a food supply. So really just kind of creepy but cool storyline, and Aquaman is still, you know, figuring out that these people are going to this trench. So they get a lot of them just start, after one of these big battles, they run and start going to the trench with some of the cocoons. But one of the police officers in Aquaman, they open up a cocoon that was left behind, and it was actually a dog. So that was really cool. So pretty cool little deal. Well, it's not cool, but in issue 4 there's something with the dog. But so yeah, they start to follow him to the trench, Aquaman and Mera, and that's in issue 4, which is the trench part 4. Another awesome cover here of Mera and Aquaman fighting these creatures, and this little subtitle is called "Food for the Trench." So again, I love the covers on these books, really great. In this, I want to say episode, but in this comic book, they follow them to the trench, and they discover that there's just tons of these like creatures down there, and they're all like worshiping something or doing something. And what we find out is in the bottom of the trench there is a huge queen with the big sharp teeth. So that's what kind of made me thought of the Aliens storyline. And there's this big queen. So what we have here is we have these cannibalistic fish creature from the Black Lagoons or whatever eating these humans and whatnot, and they're also feeding the queen, just like ants, ants in an anthill or whatnot. They're bringing back food for the queen so the colony can survive. And Aquaman, he feels bad for these creatures because he really is a noble man, and he's really trying to help. And Mera's the hothead in this storyline. She just wants to fight and kill them because there is no reasoning with these people or these creatures. But Aquaman's noble, and he just wants to help them, but what they're doing is wrong, and he tries, but he has to go ahead and just kill them. What happens is, near the trench, on one wall, like cave type wall, there's all these cocoons planted there. So they have a ton of humans or people in the cocoon to rescue. Now, a lot of these people aren't coming back. A lot of them did get eaten. But what happens is, in this issue here, the Aquaman goes down there, a big fight ensues, and it's pretty much like a all odds are against him pretty much. And he's getting attacked left and right. The queen is grabbing him up, and he tells Mera to swim out of there as fast as she can. So she swims out of there, and she's worried about him, but he says, no, go. So she goes in and swims out. Now, near this trench, there's a volcanic line or a lava line or volcanic line. So what he does near the end, with his last breath pretty much, he throws his trident thing here into that area, and it causes this huge explosion. All the trench starts crackling, and it kind of has a earthquake type event happens. The wall that had all the cocoons on is now floating loose. Not floating loose, but he holds on to it and pushes it and swims up and pushes it. And what Mera's doing is she's making kind of like a I want to say maybe just like a water trail to make it easier to push the rock up, because she does control the water pretty much. So, and then what happens is the trench, it closes in on all those other cannibals and it crushes them. And yeah, so they're not to be seen again. So what happens is Aquaman saves the day. A lot of those people, of course, they're a little dehydrated because they've been in these cocoons, but they've had ample air supply in the cocoons because it's airtight or whatnot. So he saves the people. And one funny thing is, so him and Mera go home, and there's a little bit of reminiscent. Aquaman's sad because he couldn't save them. These people weren't listening, because all they wanted was food, and they were cannibalistic creatures from the depths of the trench. But what was cool, this cop comes by, one of the beat cops, and the dog that he rescued, I think it was in issue 2 or 3, this dog needs a home, the owner died, she's not coming back, blah, 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 blah. So Aquaman and Mera, they get to adopt this dog, and then the policeman says, He calls it the policeman calls it Aqua Dog, and everyone calls Mera Aqua Woman, things of that nature. So, and Mera and all of them, they hate being called that and everything. So he's cool with it because he's so used to it. But Mera doesn't like being called Aqua Woman, and but I don't think they gave the dog a name yet. So I think it's just Aqua Dog. I can't really remember. I was just mainly in this for the action. So the first story arc is actually issue 1 through 4. Phenomenal story arc. One gripe, me personally, the stories are a little short, but they're quick reads and they are very good. So this was issue 4 of Aquaman. That's pretty much part 4 and the last part of the trench. In this one, it's a really cool, really cool story. Aquaman issue 5, subtitled Buried Alive, and this but the main title in the book is called Lost. What happens? Aquaman plummets from the sky right at the beginning of the book and boom, just lands in a desert. No water around whatsoever. He's bloodied up. His leg is stabbed by some kind of like knife thing. And then what we get though is one of those cool deals. Grant Morrison is addicted to this, but we get a flashback, like say 12 hours prior. Okay, so 12 hours prior, before he hits in the desert and he's lost and he's trapped in the desert, he gets a call from the Navy. The Navy says, you remember the cocoons that you brought up? Well, there is a box here and it has an Atlantean A symbol, kind of like the symbol on his belt, and it's it's got powers. It's technology we've never seen. Can you come check it out? So he goes, tries to check this thing out, see what's up, because the Navy people, they're prodding and trying to make it work. Of course, it's not working, but it's a what would have been AKA like a black box in an airplane. So this Atlantean A is like kind of a black box, or a recorder, if you will. And what happens is when he gets there, all of a sudden the Navy building that's holding the Atlantean A, the little black box thingy, is being attacked. 3 of these hardcore looking soldiers with these really cool armor and just get-ups on come in there, and they take the A from them before they can really study it. They take this little recorder thing and they bail. They get out of there. It's kind of like an explosion sets off, and then boom, and then they come in guns ablaze and they gun down some people, and then they take it and run. Now Aquaman runs out after him. The Navy people are like, no, come back, Aquaman, don't go out there, you're gonna get hurt, blah blah blah. But he jumps onto this flying ship, like this jet thing that these bad guys are in. He busts in there and a fight ensues, of course, in the cockpit. He actually like punches one of the guys in the face, in the helmet, and the glass on his helmet cracks and all this water comes out. Aquaman says, oh my god, you're Atlantean, or you're underwater like me. And then the other dumb soldiers, they're like, don't shoot your gun, don't shoot your gun. Of course, one idiot shoots the gun. Plane goes down pretty much. The Atlantean people die. Aquaman jumps out of the plane before, I guess, it blows up, lands. What happens is also this thing is emitting like a beacon noise that's like making the Navy people go deaf. So he can hear this recorder, and so when the plane goes down, like, I don't know, a mile away maybe, he actually listens to that recorder because it's still buzzing off, and he finds the plane out in the desert. Now during all this, I kind of also get a little bit of that Empire Strikes Back Hoth, where Luke is just attacked by the Wampa and he goes out and then he's stumbling around and he falls in the snow. Same thing with Aquaman. He's stumbling around, losing concentration, mirages and all that, and he sees his dad, and his dad was saying something like, son, you're lost, you don't belong here on Earth or on the shoreline with the people. You need to get back in the water and take what's rightfully yours, the throne of Atlantis. So he's seeing these things like that at the same time. Doubt it's his dad. It's probably just memories or something. But anyway, so that was a little part in there. But anyway, so he finds the ship. He finds the little recorder. To listen to the recorder, he needs water. So he looks in one of the helmets of one of those soldier guys, and there's water in the helmet. So he drops that A into the helmet of water, and it's more Star Wars type reminiscent stuff. Then a little holographic, a water holograph pretty much comes on the screen, kind of like when Leia said, "You're my only hope." But it's this Atlantean guy, and he's talking about there's somebody that's trying to sink Atlantis. Of course, this is an old school recorder, so we're kind of almost figuring out, oh my God, we're going to find out who sunk Atlantis. But what happens is, during the recording, it breaks up. Oh my God, they're here, they're attacking me. And this soldier guy gets attacked, and then the recording stops. So after that, Aquaman gets rescued by a Navy helicopter. They find him. Aquaman is rescued. They take him back home, and he gets healed. So he goes in the house. Mira's not in the house. The dog's there. And Mira left a note on the bed, or on, in the house, that said something like, gone to get dog food, because they've never had a dog before, right? So that was Aquaman 5. Another great issue. Really cool, really fun. Also in the beginning, or I guess it's the beginning, one of these issues, he's still reminiscent about those trench fellers. Now in Aquaman 6, Aquaman pretty much comes home. Great looking Mira cover here, controlling the water. This is Mira Unleashed. This is Mira just kind of in town. She has a little adventure in town. Ups and downs of a water woman in town. Anyway, so in this issue, really another great issue, great artwork, just like all these books have been. Mira goes out and goes for the dog food. There's this store owner, grocery store owner, and he's really a guy that loves the ladies, and he's kind of a touchy-feely guy, and he's macking or trying to hook up with one of the ladies that work at the grocery store. Well, Mira comes in and she's looking for dog food, and of course this manager's getting all hot and heavy over Mira being in there. Oh my God, you're Aquawoman, and that's kind of hacking her off because she likes to be called Mira, And he tries to put the moves on her. He's like, what is this? Some kind of like, I don't know, armor or something. And he's trying to put his arm around her waist. He says, where's the zipper on this thing? That just pisses her off. She breaks that dude's arm. Just like, one deal. So security are coming in. Hey, stop right there. What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Stupid security. I don't even know why they're at a little junky grocery store. And then they're all like pointing guns at her, and she's like, you better put your guns down. It was all his fault. He came on to me. Put your guns down. So she starts controlling water, and the water she controls is of those big old jugs of spring water, and she starts firing the water and roughing up the joint, screwing up the whole grocery store pretty much. So she finally leaves. She gets outside, and then there's cops outside the grocery store, and she's doing more water and moving around and getting pissed. And finally she says, screw it. She just says, take me. I surrender. But on the way of her surrendering, there is a call from a domestic disturbance where a father has his daughter at gunpoint. Now this father is just some guy that lives at the bay, and he had killed his wife, but now he's got his daughter at gunpoint. So he's like lost his rocker. So they stop there. Mira's in the back seat, and finally Mira's had enough. She gets out of the car, starts a little verbal talking trash with this guy. This guy's making fun of her. Well, you're a fish out of water. And Mira's getting pissed because she's like, yeah, I'm getting kind of sick and tired of hearing that kind of stuff. So anyway, and then he's like, you're a fish out of water. You have no powers here. You can't do anything. And then she says, yeah, I can do something. I can control water. So she starts controlling water in a very cool way. Cool, but kind of evil. She's kind of losing it and getting pissed off here. But she starts controlling the water in this man's body. Of course, we all know the human body, it's what? I don't remember what it was. Like 80% water? I don't know, something like that. And then, so she's pulling water out of the guy's body, and she says, there, you haven't had water all day, or something like that. And then she keeps pulling it. Now you're a day dehydrated. You haven't had any water. And then she goes 2 days. Now you're starting to lose it. Your mind's starting to go. Now it's 3 days. The guy just drops to his knees because she's sucking out all the water out of his body, so he's becoming more and more dehydrated. Finally, he drops down to his knees, and pretty much she saves the day. She's about to kill him, and the cops are saying, no, don't do it. And then she's like, well, he had his daughter at gunpoint. He killed this girl's mom. Why should he live? No one wants him to live. And then the daughter comes through and says, no, don't kill him. He is still my dad, blah, blah, blah. So she lets him live, right? A notable scene at the beginning of this book, she's kind of by herself, or actually it shows another Grant Morrison moment for Jeff Johns here. A little flashback where she is having a conversation with her father, and the father, Mira's father, is like saying stuff like, you know, he's really strong, he's the king of Atlantis, and the dad wants Mira to kill Aquaman. This is 4 years back. But you find out after, you know, she leaves and, you know, she helps the people, she just goes to the water, you know, the beach area, and she, you know, is pulling up her dad, or communicating with her dad somehow through water, and she's saying that Arthur's a noble man, she's not going to kill him, she has no intent in killing him because she fell in love with him. With her original intent probably was to kill Aquaman, but she's fallen in love with him and sees that he's a good man. Why the dad wants Arthur or Aquaman dead, I have no clue yet. But you can tell from Mira's father, he's kind of wearing that same kind of armor that that those people that took the A in issue 5, or the little black box in issue 5. So you see that same armor there. So it's kind of like, okay, he wanted to destroy that little black box of what happened when Atlantis was sinking, or when Atlantis sunk. So does that mean Mira's father had something to do with Atlantis sinking? And that's where it left off. So very cool, excellent series that Roger got me into. And I know plenty of the rest of you read Aquaman as well, but Roger was the one who pretty much put me over that hump in picking up this book in this series. And I've got issues 7 through 13 I'm going to read. That's going to be my next DC's New 52 review, Aquaman 7 through 13, which is a 7-part storyline entitled The Others, which I'm thinking that will be about Mira's people, perhaps. I don't know yet. I'm just kind of speculating. And I was also going to review issue 0 in that next one. And then, after that, on down the line here on the Great Legend Show, I will review the Throne of Atlantis storyline, which consists of Aquaman 14 and Justice League, and they bounce back and forth for a little while. So I'm eager to start the Throne of Atlantis big-time review. So these are the books I'm reading, my older books that I'm doing DC's New 52 reviews for. So that's about all I have right now for Aquaman issues 1 through 6. This has been another one of the Great Legends' favorite little segments here on the Great Legend Show, when I do these DC's New 52 reviews of the New 52 comics from the DC universe. Now, I haven't done Marvel ones or IDWs or Images or anything like that. Or I do want to do Happy by Grant Morrison, and He-Man and the Masters of the Universe series, Chasing the Dead. I want to do Severed, all those. But right now we're talking about DC's New 52 review, Aquaman issues 1 through 6. Below in the video description, you're going to find links to buy the Aquaman series in a comic book form from mycomicshop.com. And if you don't want to buy the individual comics, look for the other link below in the video description for the trade of Aquaman issues 1 through 6. And I'll also throw up the trades after that. I think it was 6 through 13. So fans, this has been another DC's New 52 review of Aquaman issues 1 through 6. Great series. Roger69501, thanks again, my friend, for giving me this good series. Let me know how good this series really was. This is the Great Legend, and I am saying peace out and God bless.